In this tutorial, I'll show you how to take a file from Photoshop, bring it into Illustrator, and then create speech bubbles for your comic unit. Now, we're starting in a place here where I've already gone and done some editing and some touch-ups. So I've altered the brightness and contrast. I've copied my layer over here and made sure that I non-destructively edited by not editing the background, and I'm only editing on the top layer here. I've erased areas where I may have accidentally had pen or pencil marks. I've gone around the edge of this border here to create a little bit stronger of a line. I've just done everything I needed to do, and now I'm going to bring this document into Illustrator. And the first thing that we're going to do is see how large this document is, because we'll want to create an Illustrator document that is almost exactly the same size. So I'm going to go down to Image and Image Size, and you'll want to, if it's not already, if you didn't scan it in as 300, you want to make sure that this image is 300 pixels per inch, because the default resolution for Illustrator is 300 pixels per inch. We see that this is 10.963 inches by 16.963 inches, so I'm just going to write that down and remember it. I'm going to say OK, and then I'm going to File, Save, and I'm going to call it Illustrator Panel 2, or however you want to remember it. Say OK. And now I'm going to open up Adobe Illustrator. When both of these programs are running simultaneously, you can expect a lag time on your computer. Just try and be patient. I'm going to say File, New, here, and we'll wait while it opens. And I want my units to be in inches here, and this is already preset because I practiced this once before, but you would change your width to the nearest hundredth decimal place that you recorded. I had 10.963 and 16.963, but if you round 3 down, it's 0, so this should fit just fine. The orientation of the page, I want it portrait style so that it's taller than it is wide, and I'm going to say OK. OK. Once I have this, I'm going to say File, Place, and then I'm going to find my panel here, and I'm going to say Place. Click here, and then move this. It should fit right on top of my document because I sized it as such. So now I'm going to move my layer panel over here so that you can see it. I'm going to make a new layer here, and I'm just going to lock this layer. And you'll notice that this gets really kind of pixelated, the quality goes way down, and that's just because we're working in large resolution, and so when we print these it'll be good, but don't worry if you seem to be losing some visual information. If you zoom in, you'll notice that your information is all there. And when you bring it back into Photoshop, the quality will go up again. We just need to use Illustrator to put in the text bubbles and the captions. So I'm just going to kind of move this stuff over because I was working. Move all of these sidebars over because I was working on another project, and I'm going to create a text bubble and a thought bubble, and I'll show you how to create the text bubble first. So we have our layers here, and what we're going to do is first make a circle. I'm going to use the I'm going to use the ellipse tool, and I want to make sure, oh my gosh, that I'm working on layer 2. I'm actually going to position this over here, I'm sorry, because we want to work in this area, not this area over here. So I want to make sure that I have a stroke, or the outline of my shape is going to be black, And when I click on here, this is the icon for stroke, I see that it's a 1-point stroke, that I have a uniform weight, and I'm using a 5-point round brush. And I'll show you how to change that once we build everything. But for now, this is okay. This is what I want. I want a fill. I want a white fill. Just like in Microsoft Word, if you make shapes, you think of the fill being the color that encompasses the whole inside of your shape. White is fine. You can choose to do no fill if you want to, but know that if you do no fill, if you have any background information and you put a bubble over it, that it will show that background information. So I'm actually going to choose a white fill, and I'm going to put my stroke in front of my fill, and I'm going to draw my shape. All right, so I have 4 points right here. These are called anchor points, and these are the points that in which Illustrator is going to let me manipulate my shape. And a rookie mistake in making comics, or a rookie move, is just leaving this shape completely cylindrical. I want to alter it just a little bit. There's a couple ways I can do that. I can use my direct selection tool, which is my white arrow, which lets me just alter one piece of a shape at a time. So I can go and double click on this, and I can move the shape bubble up, and then I can use these handles to manipulate the sides of my shape. Let's say I wanted to make kind of a funky shape. I wanted it to fit uniquely within the space. I could come over to my pen tool and say add anchor point, or if you like shortcuts, click the plus key on your keyboard. And anywhere I'm going to click here is where I'm going to add anchor points, so additional points of manipulation. And I'm going to come back over to my direct selection tool. I can move this up and over and just really create any kind of shape that I want. Sometimes comic artists use these bubbles, the shapes of these bubbles, to kind of mirror the overall intensity or feeling of what's being said. So if something was upsetting, you could make it in the shape of a storm cloud or like dripping down. It's totally up to you. So this is how we create the first part of this bubble here. And Shift Control A, holding down Shift, then Control A, all on the left side of the keyboard, will deselect pieces in Illustrator. Photoshop is Control D, Illustrator Shift Control A. It's just a little bit different to confuse you. So we're still going to be working on layer 2, and I want to make the tail of this shape. So this is indicating to the viewer where the sound is coming from. So I'm going to switch back to my pen tool right here by clicking and holding. And with the pen tool, I'm going to provide first an initial anchor point and then a grounding anchor point. So I'm going to click within this shape here and let go. That's giving me one anchor point. I'm going to drag. I want my sound coming from down here, so I'm going to indicate that. And then the second time, I'm going to click and hold down, and then if I move my mouse a little bit, I have these handles so that I can manipulate the arc of the anchor point, or the two anchor points and how they interact. I'm going to let go once I like it, and I'm going to go Shift Control A to deselect. Now I'm going to start at that anchor point that's outside of my bubble. I'm going to click and let go, come up, and then click and hold to create the anchor point again. And then I'm not going to click down again here. I'm going to go Shift Control A to tell Illustrator that I'm done using my pen tool. Now this is happening here. We want to get rid of that. If you don't see it already, you're going to go Window and then come down to Pathfinder, or Shift Control F9. I just turned mine off, so I'm going to go Window Pathfinder. And let's see where that is. I had too many toolbars open here. Too many things going on. All right. So then you have Shape Mode and Pathfinders, and then this toolbar also comes with the Transform, Align, and Pathfinder. We just want to deal with the tab to the way right over here. And then on the far left of Shape Modes, you'll see a Unite key. We're going to click that, but first we are going to use our Selection tool right here to click on this path, and then I'm holding down Shift to click on the next path, so that we're including everything about this speech bubble, and then we're going to come over and click Unite. And there you have a finished speech bubble. At this point, I'm going to stop this demonstration, and then you can pick up the next video and I'll show you how to make the airspace as well as type, and then manipulate the visual appearance of this outline right here.